Okay, so like I said again, just good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well, in good health, well rested, and as usual, especially for those who are joining us for the first time. This Tuesday morning sessions we have every Tuesday morning. The aim of this sessions is to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions, iron out any issues they have. But we start off by analyzing the markets. So we start off by looking at the market, analyzing the markets, looking at the opportunities for today, and then following that to be questions and answers till the end. So the session could last for 5 minutes, it could last for 1 hour. It all depends on the questions and answers. Of course, once we've gone through the markets and placed our trades, those who have to go to work, go to your businesses, or you have other commitments, you're welcome to log off. If you have to leave immediately, we've gone through the market, you can log off and leave. If you have questions, you can stay and ask questions. But once the session is over, the recording will be posted on the platform, and you can view the recording on the platform afterwards. Also, every Tuesday morning, I give someone a chance to present if you want to. So every Tuesday morning, we give someone a chance to analyze the markets for us and tell us where we can place our trades. And if there are no volunteers, I will go ahead and analyze the markets, place our trades. And like I said, those who have to log off can log off. And if those who have questions can stay behind and ask your questions. Okay, does anyone want to analyze the market for us? Any volunteers today? Going, gone. Okay, so if there are no volunteers, I'll kick off. All right, so as usual, we start off with the economic calendar. Let me bring the economic calendar up. So as usual, we'll start off the trading day looking at the economic calendar to see if there are any markets, if there are any reports that affect the markets we're trading. The main market we're looking at is the euro, US dollar. So we're looking for reports of high importance and not reports of medium importance that could affect the euro or the US dollar. So that's what we'll start off the day looking at according to our trading plan. So today is Tuesday, the 20th of October. Always make sure you check the time zone for the economic calendar before you start, so you don't look at the wrong time. Especially now, we were just discussing earlier about the clocks going back in UK on Sunday. So always make sure you check the time zone, whether you're in London, Nigeria, Canada, or the USA. Make sure you're using the correct time zone. Obviously, I am in Rwanda, so this is GMT +2. So all these times I'm going to be talking about are going to be GMT +2 times. But of course, you go according to the time in your own time zone. So today is Tuesday, the 20th of October. So we're looking for reports of high importance or reports of medium importance that could affect the euro or the US dollar. So let's have a look. We can just ignore reports of low importance. That's a medium report, but that's out of Switzerland. Again, we can just ignore reports of low importance. That's the Bank of England speech at 11:30 of medium importance. And all these have reports of low importance, so we can just ignore them. Okay, I'll just skip in the speeches, just to highlight this Bank of England speech and this Bundesbank speech. They're just speeches, they're not economic announcements. So they're not going to be announcing economic policy or reports, economic reports. So it's just a speech. But obviously, because it's the Bank of England and the Bundesbank in Germany, that's why it's noted as report of medium importance. But it's a speech, not a report. So we don't have to worry about that. Then at 2:30 Rwandan time, we have the US building permits and housing stats report. Again, reports to do with the housing market could impact the markets. So this one to note at 2:30. It won't stop us from trading. We can go ahead and place our trades. It won't stop us from trading, but it will be good idea. It's be a good idea to check the markets and check your trades around this time. So that's the building permits and house stats. Again, if you're new to trading, always make it a habit of reading about this report so you know what they're about, so you can begin to gauge for yourself which reports to be aware of and which reports to ignore. Okay. But like I say, usually reports to do with the housing market, mortgage applications, building permits like this, mortgage approvals, housing starts, anything to do with the housing market could affect the markets. But like I say, it's not a report of high importance. So it won't stop. It's only reports of high importance that stops us from trading. Reports of medium importance will stop us from trading, but it'll give us an indication to check the markets around that time. We can, again, just ignore the reports of low importance. Again, that's a Fed speech, so again, we can ignore that. And this is unemployment rate from Russia, so we can ignore Russia and all these reports of low importance, and that's a speech again. So basically, the only report of note today will be the US building permits and housing stats report at 2:30 Rwandan time. But like I said, that won't stop us from trading, but it will be a good idea to check the markets around that time. But again, as a day trader, it's always good to check the market intermittently when you can, especially when the UK market opens at 8, when the American market opens at 2:30. Again, you can check all these times to be sure because of all this time changes, especially on Sunday. But basically, when the UK market opens, is a good time to check the market. When the US market opens, a good time to check the markets. Of course, today, specifically 2:30 Rwanda time, when this reports of medium importance comes out, again, good time to check the markets, but also intermittently when you can as a day trader. Of course, as a swing trader, you can just ignore all this, but as a day trader, that's why you're a day trader. You need to check your trades and check the market intermittently. But like I always say, you don't have to be glued to the screen all day. I am not glued to the screen all day. Okay, so the other thing you want to check is market watch, see if there are any reports or any news that could affect the markets. Usually it tends to be major news. Obviously, we're all aware of the presidential elections, so that's something to be worried about. So do remember the markets tend to trend sideways leading up to major elections in the UK and the USA. And I think we only have about 2 weeks to go to the US election. So do be wary while you're trading. I think in the coming weeks, we won't be probably having 3 attempts a day, probably having 1, maximum 2 attempts at the markets. So again, don't forget that you know the US elections are coming up. And of course, the world will be watching the outcome of that election. And of course, until the elections come and go, nobody knows who's going to win for certain. So that could create uncertainty in the markets. So be careful trading from now till the outcome of the US elections. So that's the one that obviously you have to be mindful of this coming weeks. Of course, another one to be mindful of is obviously the US stimulus package, the COVID stimulus package that they're arguing about in the US Congress and the House of Reps and the White House. But apart from those major news, the rest of the news here, as you can see, is related to the stock market. Again, that's why I always say that's why I love trading currencies, because it's just it tends to be major news and major things that affect the currency market, whereas the stock market is very sensitive to so many things. But again, we're trading, we're not, for investors and all that, investing long term, then some of these reports might be relevant to you as an investor, but as a trader, it's just a major news. Oh, before I forget, also, when looking at the economic calendar, especially at the beginning of the week, it's good to look at the rest of the week to see if there will be any major reports that could actually affect your trading today. And usually it tends to be interest rate decisions. So usually if the US interest rate decision is coming out later in the week, or the European Central Bank, those sort of reports, the markets could just trend sideways leading up to those reports later on in the week. So again, do make it a habit of checking the rest of the week, because even if you're trading on Monday and the US report is coming out on Wednesday, if you don't know that, you might get caught out because the markets could trend sideways from Monday, Tuesday, up until Wednesday when the US report comes out. So that tends to be interest rate decisions to check for. And then the other major one is the US unemployment rate. But that comes out on the first Friday of every month. We tend to trade that report on the platform. That's a major report, highly anticipated report. It comes out on the first Friday of every month. So on that week, the market tends to trend sideways leading up to that report on the Friday. So it's just make a habit of checking the rest of the week. So we can see tomorrow we have the US inflation rate. Of course, that won't stop us trading today. Canada inflation rate. But yeah, we don't have anything major like the European Central Bank interest rate decision or the US interest rate decision or unemployment rate coming out this week. So we're good to go this week. But do make it a habit of checking the rest of the week to see if there's anything major coming out that could impact your trading today. Okay, so I think we're good to go today. So there are no reports of high importance today, no public holidays today, nothing new major in the news that would affect us apart from what we know about the COVID pandemic, the US elections coming up. So we already know what to expect today. So we can go ahead and place our trade. So let's look at the charts. Let's start with the swing trade. So with the swing trading, we'll use the daily time frame. We've been placing our orders trying to enter a buy trade. We can see here yesterday, the market broke the moving average yesterday and took our pending buy order. So we're now in a live buy swing trade. That's what we can see here. That's the live buy swing trade. Again, just to remind everyone, I think I put it on the platform and I informed everyone that although I use an FX Primer's live trade platform, which I still use, I use both of them, the FX Primer's live, but I've now also funded my live IG platform. So this is the live account, which I started trading yesterday. So this is what I'll be posting on the platform, especially on Fridays, the account history of this account I'll be posting on Friday at the end of every trading week. So like I said, for the IG live spread bet account, a volume of 1 is equivalent to $1 per pip. So for day trades, I am risking 50p per pip, which is a volume of 0.5. And then for my swing traders, I'm risking 0.2, which is 20p per pip. So basically, I'm risking £20 per swing trade because obviously I'm using a stop loss of 100 pips. So yesterday, the market took our swing trade order when it broke the moving average with a 100 pip stop loss. And usually for my swing trade, I wait for the market to move about 100 pips in my direction before I start moving the stop loss with the moving average. And of course, that hasn't happened yet. So nothing to do regarding the swing trade. The market has taken it. I'm now in the live trade, 100 pips stop loss is in place. So I just have to wait till it moves 100 pips in my direction before I start moving the stop loss with the moving average. So nothing to do. So that's the end of the swing trade. We'll reassess again tomorrow morning. So we'll now go to the 5-minute time frame for the day trading. So the first thing you do is check the trend of the market. And again, this is the beauty of following one market, because when you follow one market, you follow the trend, you're aware of the trend, you know what's happening, and it's very easy to determine the trend. Obviously, yesterday, the market trended up yesterday. We made a profit of 60 pips in our trade yesterday. So we know the market was quite bullish yesterday and trended up. And of course, it started to trend sideways around this point. So that's the most recent high point. When it started to trend sideways, it dropped a bit. And then, of course, continued to trend sideways. So I'm just taking all this as a sideways trend. So that's the high point of the sideways trend, and that's the low point of the sideways trend. But we can see R1 is outside the sideways trend, and the pivot point is also outside the sideways trend. So as you can see, I've already placed my pending sell order just below the pivot point, and my pending buy order just above the first resistance. Again, I always, just to remind you all again, is that you don't have to wait for the session before you place your trade. You don't have to wait for my posts on the platform before you place your trades. So if you've done your analysis and you're happy with what you're doing, you go ahead and place your trades. You don't have to wait. Because obviously, like I told you all, I start trading very early, so I've already placed my orders, because sometimes the market could have moved and you don't want to miss it. So just want to remind you all that I just set the time we do this session is set just to make it convenient for everybody. But it doesn't mean that's the time I actually start trading. I start trading way before that time. So it's just to remind you all that you don't have to wait for the session before you place your trades. And also you don't have to wait for my posts on the platform before you place your trades. So that's the plan for today. If the market goes up, I'll be happy to buy if it breaks R1. If it goes down, I'll be happy to sell if it breaks the pivot point. And of course, if it breaks the pivot point first and takes my sell order, I will delete the buy order and concentrate on that. But if it breaks R1 first, takes my buy order first, then I'll delete the sell order and concentrate on that one. Okay, so that's my plan for today. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can either send your question through the chat box, or you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Before I forget, obviously you've all seen on the platform, I've set a session for money management part 2 next week, Wednesday. Again, I'm hoping this time change on Sunday. But it's been set for 8 o'clock Rwandan time. So that might be 7 p.m. Nigerian time, and it might actually be 6 p.m. London time next week, Wednesday. But Zoom, when you register for the session, Zoom will hopefully tell you which time it is, but I hope you won't get confused on that day. But yes, the session is at 8 p.m. next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Rwandan time. So I'm not sure what that, I think that will be 7 p.m. Nigerian time and 6 p.m. UK time. I think you guys have to figure that out. Not sure to be American time. So for you guys in America or Canada, you have to work that out. But it's 8 p.m. Rwandan time next week, Wednesday. So basically, we're going to step up our game with trading. I'm going to start showing you guys how to trade multiple markets. But it's your money management that will determine how you trade multiple markets. So that's what we're going to be doing next week, Wednesday. But anyway, all the details are on the platform. Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, and I'll let you all go for your breakfast. And like I said, the recording, when it's ready, will be posted on the platform, and you'll all be notified when it's ready. Okay, good. So there are no questions. I wish you all a good day. Enjoy your breakfast, and we'll catch up on the platform.